बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अस्सलाम वालेकुम स्टूडेंट्स, उम्मीद करता हूँ कि आप सब लोग खैरियत से होंगे। तो क्लास 9th बायोलॉजी के अहम सवालात यानी कि गैस पेपर लेकर मैं आपके लिए हाज़िर हूँ। तो ये सवालात मुझे उम्मीद है कि आप लोगों ने ये याद किए होंगे। तो जो सवाल रह गए हैं और वो अब आपने अच्छे तरीके से याद करने हैं। तो पहला सवाल है बच्चों, डिफाइन विद एग्जांपल दैट बायोलॉजी हैज़ मैनी सब फील्ड। तो ये ब्रांचेस ऑफ बायोलॉजी ये आपने अच्छे तरीके से याद करनी है। इनका एक शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन मस्ट आएगा। दूसरा बच्चों आपके पास, डिस्क्राइब द स्टेप्स ऑफ द साइंटिफिक मेथड दैट इज़ रिकॉग्नाइज्ड ऑब्जर्वेशन हाइपोथेसिस डिटेक्शन एक्सपेरिमेंट्स रिजल्ट। थर्ड है, इवेलुएट द टर्म हाइपोथेसिस थ्योरी एंड लॉ। फोर्थ है, एक्सप्लेन द थ्योरी ऑफ इवेल्युएशन by natural selection with examples. Fifth है, outline the binomial nomenclature system. Sixth है, list the taxonomic rank of classification. Seventh है, list the three distinct domains into which living organisms are broadly classified. Eighth है, define biodiversity and classification and also state the describe advantages of classification. Ninth है बच्चों, describe sources of variation which can lead to speciation and evaluation. 10th है, define species. 11th है, describe the complication of classification viruses. 12th है, define biochemistry molecular biology. 13 है, define DNA and also outline function of DNA as carriers of hereditary information. 14 है, describe cell as the basic units of life. 15 है, identify carbohydrates as monosaccharides, disaccharides and polysaccharides. 16 है बच्चों, outline the structure, function and sources of lipid. 17 है, define carbohydrates and outline the structure, function and sources of carbohydrates. 18 है, describe the concept of division of labor and how it applies to within cell. 19 है, describe cell specialization. 20 है, describe cell cycle. 21 है, define stem cells as unspecialized cell. 22 है, outline the significance of mitosis and meiosis. 23 है, compare the processes of mitosis and meiosis. 24 है, distinguish between tissues, organ and system with examples from animals and plants. 25 है, define major field of biology as botany, zoology and microbiology. 26 है, define term biophysics, biochemistry, computational biology, biogeography, biostatics, biotechnology, bioeconomics. 27 है, enlist the different type of tissues comes together to form the stomach organs in the human body. 28 है, discuss the different type of tissues come together to form the leaf. 29 है, discuss the organ systems come together to form the human body. 30 है बच्चों, describe the advantages of homeostasis. 31 है बच्चों आपके पास, discuss the various organs and systems of the human body work to maintain homeostasis. 32 है, define metabolism, catabolism and anabolism with example. 33 है, define enzymes and describe their characteristics. 34 है, assess the factors which could influence enzymes activities. 35 है, describe competitive and non-competitive inhibition. 36 है, discuss the role of ATP as energy currency. 37 है, explain aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. 38 है, define cloning. 38 है define cloning. 39 है rationalize how parthenogenesis is a type of asexual reproduction. 40 है बच्चों आपके पास describe the two methods of artificial vegetative propagation, stem cutting and grafting. 41 है distinguish between vegetative propagation and artificial propagation. 42 है describe the mechanism and adaptations in plants for the extraction. 43 है explain osmosis adjustment in plant. 44 है define homeostasis and describe its importance. Describe the mechanism of transport of water and salt in plant. 46 है describe how roots take up water and mineral salt by active and passive absorption. 47 है explain the internal structure of roots and roots here state that nitrogen is important in protein synthesis and magnesium for chlorophyll formation. 48 है categorize mineral nutrients of plants into macronutrients and micronutrients. 49 है define mineral nutrients and photosynthesis in plant. 50 है describe temperature, wind and humidity as the factor affecting the rate of transpiration. 51 है describe the mechanism of transport of water and salt in plant. 52 है differentiate between binary fission and budding. 53 है define spore formation, biodiversity and classification. 54 है what is the theory of pressure flow mechanism. 55 है differentiate between stem cutting and graft. 56 है rationalize how parthenogenesis is a type of asexual reproduction. 57 है differentiate between homologous structure, vestigial structure. 58 है write down the characteristics of good hypothesis. 59 है write classification of human and bee. 60 है why is it important for a biologist to understand biological classification. 61 है what is speciation. 62 है define biodiversity and classification. 63 है what is dengue fever and also writes about its causes and symptoms. 64 है बच्चों what was the main purpose of experiment by Ronald Ross. 65 है why it is impossible to eradicate malaria. 66 है causes, symptom and cure of malaria diseases. 67 है why viruses are considered as border lines of living and non-living organisms. 68 है why are viruses regarded as a cellular. 69 है draw and label a virus. 70 है can you differentiate between bacteria and protist, fungi and plants and animals. 71 है compare 2 kingdoms classification and 5 kingdom classification. 77 है explain the theory of evaluation by natural selection with example. 73 है describe sources of variation which can lend to speciation and evaluation. 74 है बच्चों what do you know about comparative anatomy. 75 है discuss the history of classification scheme. 76 है outline the structure and function and sources of protein with structure of amino acid. 77 है explain the structure of cell membranes and its function. 78 है बच्चों what do you know about fluid mosaic model. 79 है mitochondria is the powerhouse of cell explain. 80 है what is the structure and function of nucleus. 81 है write the short note on all the sub organelles present in a cell. 82 है write and draw the structure and role of different type of cell. Mesophyll cell, epidermal cell, neuron, neurons, muscles, red blood cell, liver cell. 83 है describe the concept of emergent properties as gain in functionalized and how it applies to the following going from subcellular organelles to cell, going from cell to tissue, going from tissue to organs, going from organ to system, going from system to living organisms. 84 है conceptualize transport and its need. 85 है what is enzyme substrate complex. 86 है how enzyme catalyze the reaction. 87 है structure of leaf, roots and stump label diagram. 88 है diagram of aerobic respiration label. 89 है explain the properties and chemical composition of disaccharides. 90 है how biological method may help to find the causes of any infectious diseases. 91 है why multiple organs are needed to develop an organ system. 92 है how kidney are involved in homeostasis given two functions. 93 है list the key points of Darwin theory of natural selection. ये थे बच्चों आपके शॉर्ट क्वेश्चन।